At the home base of Athletes Unlimited, the final day hinges on the bounce of a ball. Team Glynn has all eyes on the outcome, with hope that Charlotte North has a few goals in sight. Things have rolled off course for Team Johansen, but they plan to celebrate once more. With respect for tradition, it's Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse on ESPN. You're watching Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse on ESPN, presented by Geico. Today, we're open for a final day of business at USA Lacrosse headquarters, where captains reign supreme. It's a battle between Team Kaylee Glynn and the squad led by Amanda Johansen. A very pleasant welcome to you. Alongside Courtney Martinez-Connor, a five-time national champion at Maryland, I'm Joe Beninati. This is the end of the Athletes Unlimited run for these teams. So what type of lasting impression do the players want to leave?
Well, these players have been working hard for the last 4 weeks. They've really been grinding it out on the field. Everyone wants to win, but there can only be one. They're super competitive. They do want to make sure to have a lot of fun as they've made a lot of great friendships.
Let's provide this reminder on how we've arrived at this final weekend with Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse. 56 players in Sparks, Maryland, gunning to be the lone gold medalist. 4 teams changed all 4 weeks by virtue of captain's draft and a really fun-filled scoring system.
The scoring system is so unique. There's 3 ways that you can earn points. 1, statistically, you got to perform on the field. 2, you need others recognizing that so they can vote you as an MVP. And then lastly, every quarter counts as well as the overall win.
This could be the last professional game in the career of Aly Mastroianni. If it is, the first 11 of this summer have been fantastic.
Aly Mastroianni, she is so fun to watch on the field. She's a great finisher inside. She really has a knack for the game, likes to feel her way through the defense. She's incredibly creative with her stick and ball handling skills. She does her best work when she plays free, but ultimately, when she sees open spaces on the field, you better watch out. We see her teammate right here. All eyes are on Aly. There's a lot of green in front of her, and then she adds some flair.
She's the only player in the league with a goal in every game this season. She's been having fun, playing free and easy. It looks really good on her. Mastriani works for Team Kaylee Glynn. On the other side of the equation, Aly Mastroianni has developed into an everyday scoring threat for Team Johansen.
Aly Mastroianni, she is one of the most athletic players here. She has a never-give-up mentality, and that's really important to have on the field. She's fluid, utilizes her speed when dodging, but she is an absolute force from the draw control. She's dominant when she has a full head of steam in front of her. We see 4 defenders, but she still manages to slice and dice through the entire D. Watch out for her today.
You can't miss number 21 out on the field. Tall, talented, and she finds herself in the top 10 on the leaderboard when play begins this day. You know, over the last 4 weeks, we really enjoyed visiting with the players on the field, very agreeable to wearing microphones and bringing us into the game, presented by Air National Guard. Today, Kaylee Glynn can hear my voice. Captain Katie, where are your thoughts today? This is the final game of the season. What's on your mind?
You know, on my mind is just how grateful we all are to be here and just to have some fun and enjoy the last day here.
Katie, I think I've seen your parents just about at every game. What does it mean to have them here throughout the season?
Oh my God, it means the world to me. Having them here, they haven't missed a game, and it's just so cool to look up in the stands and see that support.
Ted and Debbie cheering you on. We're right there with them. Thanks, Katie, very much. We'll check in with you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Game number 23. It's a Sunday, Championship Sunday. We will crown an individual champion once we are through with Team Glynn against Team Johansen and Team Marino against Team Apuzzo. With Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse on ESPN. Right off the jump, Mastriani's pass for Geyersbach is overhead. That's a turnover. That costs you 8 points on your leaderboard total. As Kaylee Glynn will look to clear. You have 20 seconds to bring it across the midline in this league. The 2 goals are set to 75 yards apart, goal line to goal line. The roster size is 14. We play 10 on 10. 6 on 6 at the offensive end. Very nice crowd here in attendance at USA Lacrosse headquarters. Temperatures in the high 70s when we begin play today. Allie Kennedy started Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse like a house of fire. She crosses over here and whistles one wide on Kaylee Waters. coming off of a summer season where she has won Women's World Championship gold with Team USA. Kennedy, of whom we speak. The officials, Lynn Bowers, Erica Leslie, Ronnie Anton, Julie Wakes, and Liz Brush this afternoon. Majorana's pass looking for Charlotte North off the top of her cross, and it's the captain, Amanda Johansen, going the other way. Floats it on for Becca Block, that smooth running stride, maybe the fastest player on the field.
You know, they almost could have pushed the transition a little bit more in that last instance. Kelly McPartland, we saw her last night looking to take one of those last shots for Team Glynn. She's incredibly fast on the field and can create offensively.
It was the last shot. Fortunato fires. Glynn juggles that one off the back of the cage. She'll find it in the goal circle. Team Glynn yesterday falling to Team Apuzzo. Team Johansen slipping to Team Marino. Throughout the day, we'll be showing you the Geico leaderboard, and we'll be doing it an awful lot today because it's time to name the champion, crown 4 medalists as Kennedy goes to goal. She scores! Aly Kennedy.
Aly Kennedy, so fun to watch on the field. She's a speedy player. We had the opportunity to talk with her best friend, Kylie O'Miller, yesterday, and she called her the Energizer Bunny. And she's somebody who went from World Championships to Athletes Unlimited, and she still has a ton of speed in front of her, not slowing down an ounce in this last game of Athletes Unlimited. Her hands were free, and she was able to get some speed and torque off of this shot on the run.
Aly Kennedy yelling out loud after this strike. Back on Media Day, she reminded us, you know, I really would have loved to have taken some singing lessons. Aly Kennedy's 12th of the season, has her team in song right now. In the early going, just past the 2-minute mark.
I think everybody is a secret singer, right? Maybe in the shower.
Well, Sam Geyer's back, 38 in the blue, says definitely with her love of Broadway, she does sing secretively. Haley Warden executing a nice dodge in the open field. Arrives at the 8-meter key. If you score a goal from behind that arc, 2 points for your team, 16 for yourself. Every quarter matters in Athletes Unlimited. If you win the quarter, all 14 players on the roster pick up 20 points. Everything is about the leaderboard this afternoon as North floats this one to the wing. Chased down by Warden. Nice job to keep it alive. Shot clock's at 20. Izzy Mcmahon is out there, 2 in the purple. Goals in 7 straight games. She's been a 2-point shooting demon of late. Majorana, one of the highest scorers in the league this summer. Putting a fake on Kira Pelton. Pelton on Majorana, inside for Kennedy, off the head of her cross, and it's down for Mastriani, 2 points on the ground ball for 21 blue. Waters loves the outlet. There she airmails Meg Dowdy. Dowdy, a member of the Player Executive Committee in Athletes Unlimited. The players are the leaders. They're the decision makers in this circuit. Kennedy fires again, too tall. Chased down on the end line, closest to the ball on a shot. Where and when it leaves the field maintains possession. This time it's Majorana.
Already we're seeing the offense of Team Glynn. They're looking at the cage. They're getting a lot of quality shots. Yesterday they couldn't quite create separation from their defensive players. That's already an improvement that we're seeing from yesterday to today.
Off the roll, this is Warden kicking to Izzy Mcmahon. She fires, and that's answered by the netminder Kaylee Waters, crossing over to pick up 6 points for herself. Every goalie save on the day will help.
As we look in the upper right hand of your screen, always setting herself in a position to catch, turn, and shoot. Izzy Mcmahon does such a great job at that, but even better, Kaylee Waters with the stop.
Waters, who was the runner-up to Taylor Cummings a season ago in the inaugural year of Athletes Unlimited. Fortunato rolling in against the defense of Katrina Geiger. Good breakup there. Ball down. Glynn leaving the circle, trying to come up with a grounder. It belongs to Scotty Rose Growney. 20 seconds to shoot. Nearing the midway mark of the opening quarter. Geyer's back was crunched there by Pareca. Sydney Pareca with a sturdy hit inside the key. The officials allowing the play to continue. And the clear is an uncontested one for Geiger. Charlotte North, yesterday, Courtney, was a rarity. She did not score a goal. Think about the calendar year for Charlotte through BC, Team USA, and Athletes Unlimited. 44 games played. She scored in 42 of them. That's pretty automatic. On the split dodge heel, she'll fire. That's broken up. Well defended by her Team USA gold medalist teammate, Becca Block. Block, a member of the all-defensive team, roaring in now. Going offensive, she scores! Becca Block.
Becca Block showcasing her speed in the open field. First goal of Athletes Unlimited.
Becca Block's first ever goal as a professional. Aly Mastroianni is one of her opponents this afternoon. This could very well be the final day for her as a pro. More on that after this. Bundling made easy. Go to geico.com. All the athletes and Athletes Unlimited love going through the autograph line, taking photos. There's Charlotte North with a player who was involved in the Athletes Unlimited Futures program, a middle school, high school program. Even younger than that, they're always in the stands waving hello to their favorite players. This is game 23 of 24. It's the final day of season 2 in Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse. We're level, a buck apiece. Block for Johansen, Kennedy for Glynn. Folks, tonight we have a great Sunday night baseball matchup, Yankees and Red Sox. Finishing up from Fenway, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Coverage beginning at 6 Eastern with Baseball Tonight Sunday Night Countdown. Michael K. and A-Rod having their special K-Rod presentation on ESPN2, and a special guest to join them is Derek Jeter. Aly Mastroianni has been a day-to-day goal-scoring threat for whichever team she has dressed for. This sharpshooter might be facing the end of the line, though, for her playing days. Mastroianni! She scores!
Aly Mastroianni never quitting on the play.
I just love watching Mastroianni shoot the ball.
It's definitely been a journey to get to this point, but yeah, I see it coming to an end.
Taking on the run, down low, behind the back! Hello, Aly Mastroianni starts the league in style.
I'm so grateful to not only have played in the inaugural season, but to be back for season 2 and just trying to enjoy every single moment, both on the field and especially off the field with these friendships that I've created.
Another fast break finish. Mastroianni will not be stopped in tight.
Aly, so good!
Trying to enjoy it all and take it all in and go out at the highest note possible.
Aly Mastroianni, Courtney, her career really took off when she transferred from Maryland, went to Syracuse, and become a very, very prominent scorer.
Sometimes just like we see here in Athletes Unlimited, you mesh better with other players over some others, and Aly Mastroianni just found her home at Syracuse and really flourished. She's made jokes about not playing that way since 2016, but we saw her score the very first goal last summer in Athletes Unlimited behind the back. I think she's always pretty much stayed true to form.
Yeah, she's been dynamite. There's a whole lot of personality in 37 purple. We wish her the very best. If it is indeed the end, we're not sure. There are a number of players who are contemplating retirement. Charlotte North is nowhere near there. She was stick-checked by Becca Block. Block just tied the game up at 1 before the commercial break. McMahon's drive answered there and deflected away by Kaylee Waters. We play stop time 10-minute quarters in Athletes Unlimited. Whichever team wins the frame gets 20 points for all the players on the roster. And on this day, when we will name and crown 4 medalists and 1 individual champion, all of those points, every single one of them will matter, especially for those among the top 10 on the leaderboard. Mastriani from the top. Angles in and fires. Katie Glynn stabbing that waist high. Glynn yesterday was magnificent, Courtney. In the first 3 quarters of that game, she was super, and Katie Glynn has popped up to 7th now on the active leaderboard. McMahon has room to roam. McMahon thinking too, force feeding inside. That'll get away from Stevens. Dowdy was there in the passing lane. That's a turnover against McMahon.
You know, oftentimes when you are just getting the ball back into your offensive area, you want to make sure to take your time. As you had mentioned, a little bit of a force feed. Meg Dowdy, Team USA player, it's tough to squeeze one by her, so she had some extra sauce on that pass, but still a little bit too much for her teammate to handle.
Definitely, Courtney, the breeziest day that we have experienced during the Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse Season 2. Temperatures are very, very pleasant, but there are gusts of wind that may affect passes from cross to cross. Definitely upset our broadcasting table a time or two already. Fortunato on the feed, in tight, Johansen, bullseye.
Every team that does well within Athletes Unlimited knows how to share the ball. That means moving it quickly, having a lot of movement with off-ball cutters. And we see from Geyers back here, a little misplay. McPartland was right there to pick it up. Again, everyone is moving. Courtney Fortunato getting it into the stick of her captain, Amanda Johansen right here, who popped wide open into space, squared her hips up to the goal. She was ready to receive, turn, and shoot all in one. A lot of accuracy on that shot as we see it right up next to the post.
When it's all said and done, these players will have played 12 games this summer. Amanda Johansen has scored a goal in 8 of those dozen. She loves to paddleboard. The teammates celebrating, always Mira Shane with the touchdown signal in the back, as Amanda Johansen just put up 12 points for herself on the leaderboard. Every Monday, the past 4 weeks, we've been having a captain's draft, so these teams have constantly been changing and shuffling. One of the ways you get to be a champion in Athletes Unlimited is that you get to learn how to run and organize and build chemistry quickly between new mates. Johansen and Glynn have done a fine job of that this week. Through the weave, this is Geyers back, the impressive rookie from North Carolina. Scotty Rose Growney, another former Tar Heel. Same for Mastriani. In fact, a quarter of the league has connections to UNC. Johansen, who played collegiately at Southern Cal. Shot clock at 25. Geyers back, picked up by Sydney Pareca. Geyers back, lost her balance there. Went down awkwardly, and she's slow to get back up as Sydney Pareca rumbles through midfield. On for Allie Kennedy with a burst. Charlotte North fires and scores! Charlotte North.
Straight from transition from their defensive end, moving it all the way quickly into their attacking zone. Charlotte North, number 88. She knows how to score when you get that ball into her stick from a long range. Speed from Sydney Pareca, getting it into Allie Kennedy's stick, who they had a 4-on-3 the entire time. She knew where she was passing that ball to. Charlotte North was showing her stick the entire time, just waiting for that pass to get to her. Not quite 2. I know that's what she was looking for, but nevertheless, very accurate. Foot was just on the line. Anything on the line or just barely touching will only be a 1-point goal.
The golden gun of Charlotte North gets her 26th of the season. She wears purple today. For every assist that comes during Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse's season, Aspiration is planting 10 trees. When we began play today, better than 1,700 have been committed. We thank Aspiration for all of its support. Final 85 seconds of the opening quarter, deadlocked at 2. If the score is tied at the end of 1, the 20 points that are available in the first would carry over and make the second worth 40. Still 40 seconds on the shot clock. North, who was blanked yesterday, has had multiple goal games in 8 of her first 11. McMahon, 2-person game with North. Charlotte finessing from the outside with momentum against block. Playing a little cat and mouse game. Shot clock's at 14 right now. On the go off the sweep, no shooting room there for Haley Warden. McMahon thought about the 2, she hitches back. Shot clock's at 4. North is a mile away from the cage. Fires for 2, and Waters made that stop. Block picks up the ground ball, that's worth 2 points for her. Shot clock's turned off, a chance now for Team Johansen to win the quarter if they strike on this offensive set. Mastriani knows that. She's going to goal. Mastriani fires and scores!
Aly Mastroianni wearing number 21 in blue. We talked about her in the open, about her ability to utilize her speed, her athleticism. She will go hard to the goal in transition, taking on Aly Kennedy right there. Aly Kennedy is incredibly fast herself, but Aly Mastroianni finding just another gear. As soon as she got the hips turned of Aly Kennedy, that's when she knew she had a solid lane to goal where she could take a quick shot.
Enormous tally there for Mastriani at the tail end of a quarter, likely to give her team those 20 points. Remember, Mastriani began the day 9th on the overall leaderboard. Someone like Kaylee Waters, her netminder, began the day 6th on the board. So every single point will make changes meaningful on the overall leaderboard. 4 medalists crowned at the end of play today as the whistle blares out, and we are going to see a card here. Aly Kennedy exiting. This will be a player-up situation for Team Johansen. Just under 9 seconds remaining. Mastriani will kickstart the last offensive set of the quarter. Pelton gliding in, feeds too high for Scotty Rose Growney. Fortunato didn't let that 2 fly as the opening 10 minutes comes to its end. Team Johansen, thanks to the late Mastriani goal, a 3-2 winner. They claim all 20 points for winning the opening frame. 1 quarter of the way home today. Just 2 games left. This is the first of the double dip. Team Johansen against Team Glynn. Amanda's squad on the lead. We're back with quarter 2 in just a moment. Can it really be 5 weeks ago since Media Day with Athletes Unlimited? There are the Pareca sisters, big smiles on their faces. Sydney working in our first game. Molly Wolf having so much fun in this, her rookie season in Athletes Unlimited. There's the McKenzie family, big smiles. And Alex Ostholman, who is such a player with flair in Athletes Unlimited. Season 2 for lacrosse. And the game today, Team Johansen, 10 minutes into the contest, a 3-2 advantage. The lead goal provided by Aly Mastroianni. Athletes Unlimited launched back in 2020. Women's softball was held in Chicago. Kat Osterman, who I believe was a captain 8 times in her career, heading a very impressive list of past champs for Athletes Unlimited. Lacrosse and softball going on at the same time right now, and we welcome in John Patrikoff, who's the CEO and co-founder of Athletes Unlimited. John, it's really been an amazing spring and summer of lacrosse right here on ESPN. What's your level of excitement to have Athletes Unlimited connected with this network?
Well, incredible. I mean, I'm CEO and co-founder, but I can't help but today be just a huge fan. Coming off of that last quarter, everyone sees the excitement of this format. It's working so well to have a first quarter of a game, and you're biting your nails really watching what's going to happen down at the end there, and a great goal by Aly. So it's terrific, and the partnership with ESPN has been absolutely amazing.
John, please explain some of the initiatives that Athletes Unlimited has taken to help grow this game of lacrosse.
Well, first and foremost, what's most important is what you're seeing and watching today, what happens out on that field. But we also know that these players, these athletes are so much more than that. And so we're supporting them in so many different ways through our Athletes Plus program, our Athlete Causes program. I mean, they are whole people in many dimensions. And so we want to make sure we provide them with the best setting to play at the highest level of the game, but also really support them as people off the field. And that's worked really well for us.
John Patrikoff is with us. And John, I want to tag up on something you said a second or so ago. The race for the title, the scorekeeping. We're all fixated on the race for the champion's title today. How does the scorekeeping add to the excitement?
I mean, to me, I love it, and I hope for viewers that are watching, Obviously, there's a race that we're going to see in the second game that's going to come down to these top 2 spots. But remember, every step of the leaderboard, whether you finish in 40th or 39th, is going to determine your end-of-season bonus. Obviously, bragging rights, and it's worked so well. And again, the leaderboard score is so dependent upon how your team performs as well as how you perform. So it's worked really well. We're always constantly tweaking it. We made some adjustments this year. I'm sure we'll make some more next year, but it's working really well. And I love the excitement and intensity of this 4-week season. It's been incredible.
John, we have a new home here at USA Lacrosse headquarters for the second season of Athletes Unlimited. What do you enjoy most about this facility?
Well, in addition to ESPN, the partnership with USA Lacrosse has been absolutely amazing. Being here, obviously the field is beautiful, obviously the facilities for fans, but obviously I really am taken by the fact that the Hall of Fame is here, and the fact that you can really respect and value the history of this game. It's so important, and for little kids, I was just talking to some parents earlier who've been able to take their kids through there and see the history of the game, remember it and honor it. I think we're seeing the future, but always important to remember the past.
John Patrikoff, CEO, co-founder of Athletes Unlimited, thanks very much for allowing us to be a part of this, and best wishes now as you transition off of this weekend with lacrosse to full-time softball.
Well, thank you both. You guys are a huge part of this family. You've been here since day one, and we're so appreciative of everything you do.
Thank you, thank you. While we were chatting with John, Charlotte North's back in business. She's tied things up with the first goal of the second quarter.
Charlotte North, I like that she's trying new things. She's not just looking to take on her defensive players in one-on-one situations, but she's showing that she's a dual threat. She can cut and receive the ball as well, and that's exactly what she just did in that last option. So yesterday we saw a lot of challenges from her, Joe, right? And that's just evolving your game, changing it to maybe what these teams aren't used to seeing from her time and time again.
Charlotte North putting some breathing room between herself and fellow rookie Lauren Gilbert for the goal-scoring race this summer. Closing in on 30 for this season. Draw control story, bottom of the screen. The team in purple has the advantage there. Every draw possession earns the athlete 2 points on her ledger. We have 8.5 to go in the opening half. North feeds, looking for Aly Mastroianni, chased down by Kira Pelton. Mastroianni, we showed you on a graphic, she missed a bunch of games last summer. She had a rib injury. She's been healthy this summer and scoring every day. Perella fires. Shuffling over to make that denial was Waters. Good footwork in the crease. Already 4 stops for Kaylee. On one skip, Geyersbach will pick it up with her right knee now bandaged. We saw her get dinged in the opening 10 minutes. Geyersbach, who is so tremendous for the NCAA title-winning Tar Heels in late May, especially in the championship weekend. Scotty Rose grounding on the go, lets it fly. That's easy pickings for Katie Glynn.
We see the physicality of Athletes Unlimited. A lot more of what's happening on the field is what you would not see in the collegiate game, but the players love that they're able to be a bit more physical on the field, make some contact, and show their athleticism and aggressiveness. However, that last one was a foul.
Sydney Pareca dinged up high there. She told us that she would be a nutritional chef were it not for lacrosse. Assistant coach at Stony Brook with Joe Spallina, who is the offensive coordinator for so many of the players out on the field with Team USA, which won gold in the Women's World Championships, included among them Charlotte North, looking for the early hat trick. A worm burner hits pay dirt.
You cannot give Charlotte North space. If you give her space, she's going to wind up and take a shot from downtown, and that's exactly what she did. A little two-man game between Haley Warden and Charlotte North. And we see right there she got a step on her defender, Becca Block, and that freed up her hands. You can't shoot if your hands are tied up, but they were not tied up in this last instance. Defense was not able to get a stick on her. Incredibly important when you are shooting with range from a distance. We see there's no shooting space here in Athletes Unlimited. Meg Dowdy down low knew that she was in the lane, made sure to get herself out of it. It's not a foul, but obviously she doesn't want to get hit by a shot either.
North with 7 tricks this summer, 7 hat tricks or better. Her third goal today, the 3 goals today in less than 4 minutes worth of work. It's 4-3 now for Team Glynn, leading in the second quarter with those 20 points on the line, 2 points to love. There's the note on North, who can heat up quickly. Mastriani winning the draw to herself. How many times did we see that during an NCAA season with North Carolina? You told me you knew she'd be a tremendous pro, and she has not disappointed. 21 in the blue.
You know, I think it can be a little scary at times being a rookie coming out into a new league, but all of these players are so used to playing at the highest level. Obviously, there's a lot of North Carolina alums here who were able to mentor these younger players.
Beautiful moves inside. Great stop by Glynn. An amazing stop there. Mastriani waltzed her defender, but Glynn had the stop at the ready. Geiger then tightropes the sideline. Goes 6-on-6 at this end of the field.
You know, more times than not, Kaylee Glynn, no matter if her team is winning or losing, she's a consistent player, a goalkeeper inside the net, always having a lot of saves, and many that she shouldn't have. If you look in your upper right-hand screen right now, excellent move by Aly Mastroianni, but an even better save by Glynn. You always want to tell your players to shoot opposite of where the stick is at. Hip level is even better. And that was one of those excellent saves as a keeper. It's the farthest place for her stick to travel.
North rolling bat, pumped it right to the cross of Kaylee Waters. Waters was then interfered by Aly Mastroianni. They let it play continue nearly halfway through the second quarter. You're talking about Katie Glynn, who had 13 saves back on Thursday against Team Marino. Another 11 against Team Apuzzo in the setback yesterday. And Katie Glynn, as usual, top 5 MVP votes over the first 3 weekends. Fortunato takes the flip, working in against Courtney Taylor. Geyer's back, leaves to Mastriani. Mastriani to the roof. Aly Mastroianni, second on the day, levels the count at 4.
That was Tar Heel to Tar Heel. Both just finished their 5th years at UNC, so they know one another well, and that's half the battle with teams being formed each and every week. This is obviously the last time that these players will play together here in Athletes Unlimited, and that nice little flip pass, she knew Mastriani was coming. She put that ball into space, and Aly just picked up the speed. That nice grab with one hand, very impressive, all while still managing to keep her eyes on goal.
Aly Mastroianni, who from time to time will volunteer with Special Olympics. Her play in this first season as a pro, dynamic. Goals in 11 of her 12 outings this summer. Mastriani and North hogging the headlines in the last 5 minutes. Mastriani back to work inside the draw circle with Haley Warden. Lined up there by official Erica Leslie. It's a draw control for Allie Kennedy. She speeds to the cooker. Angled by the captain, Amanda Johansen. We've crossed the midway mark of quarter 2. Back and forth game, a 4-4 affair. Kennedy working to the outside, snapped that one wide. Possession will stay with Aly Mastroianni and the team in purple.
Charlotte North has propelled Team Glynn in this second quarter. She's had 2 back-to-back goals. There's a reason why we call her the generational talent of today's game. Doing her job on the field, Charlotte North, and the game is tied at 4.
Who do I think is going to win this entire season?
Whoever gets the most points.
Me.
Well, I would want it to be me. So, me.
I don't like to talk too much, but you know, I'm coming for number 1.
I hope who wins it is not a pitcher.
I think it will be another pitcher. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I would love to say a hitter that's gonna win is gonna win at some point.
Come on, a position player. We can do it. We can do it.
It's gonna be an interesting season. I'm excited to see who takes home the gold.
Playing some terrific softball in Rosemont, Illinois. Week 3 of Athletes Unlimited softball wrapping up. Couple games tonight. Team Chittister tangling with Team Jakewish. That's a 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific start. McLenny then squares off against Mulipola, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, both on ESPN Plus. You're looking at the top 4 on the Athletes Unlimited softball leaderboard up to the moment. Mulipola and Bianca Stelli, fantastic to watch at the plate. Big hitting potential. Jay Quish, a captain 6 times in her career. We have the players on the lacrosse field mic'd up and at the ready. We're going to go into the game presented by Air National Guard with Amanda Johansen.
Kelly, pop it. One more. One more. Yes. Oh, hey, good job. That was great movement. Hey, Kayla, switch to me. Kayla, switch to me. Get up. Watch here, watch here, watch here. Good job, Kayla. Yes! Yes! Aly, I know you're probably going to be tired, but just keep taking off because I'll always find you. Hey, you guys, you killed it. Good job, good job.
Don't worry, Amanda. Aly never gets tired. She runs like a gazelle all day.
You know, it's interesting when you listen to a captain like Amanda Johansen. When she selected her team, she said she needed to make sure to have a personality, someone to get the team pumped up like Mira Shane. She said, I know that's not my strength. You know, I'm an X's and O's. She sees the game. But Mira, who she has done an outstanding job in getting the team fired up, throwing out some dance moves.
No doubt about that. North with a hat trick already in this first half. Charlotte rolling back to her strong side, shaded there by Becca Block. Shot clock's at 5. McMahon has to hurry. Jitterbug move, fires and scores! A lightning bolt from the left side.
I honestly thought the shot clock was gonna wind down on this one. I wasn't sure that Izzy Mcmahon or the team in purple was aware of that. I believe this is potentially a 2. Look at her happy feet right here. That nice quick change of direction. I call that the bunny hop. Both of her feet landed at the same time while she accelerated the opposite direction right there. Little drag, and she took off for the middle. That's where she had that open lane. Now that I see that again, that's definitely not a 2, but nevertheless a great move for Izzy Mcmahon.
Izzy Mcmahon's offensive game has come to light in the last 3 weekends especially. She has goals in 8 straight games to close the campaign. A season ago, her 1-loss record was 5-10. This season has also been unkind in terms of the 500 level of win-loss, but it's been fun to watch McMahon flourish at the goal-scoring end. And in that department, Waters leaving the circle to come up with a turnover here. Kaylee Waters not afraid to run. Uh-oh, now being ridden heavily by Allie Kennedy. It's goosed on back by Waters, picked up by Pelton. Meanwhile, you have 20 seconds to clear. That's only 3 seconds left. Dowdy at the line is going to be whistled. That's going to be failure to advance. That's the reason why the ball is turned back over. McMahon will zigzag her way into the attack. In purple, Team Glynn has scored 3 of its 4 shots in the second. They lead this quarter in the race for those 20 points. 3 points to 1. Charlotte's in a shooting mood today, you can just tell. Lets it fly off the cross of Waters. Another save for the keeper in blue. 6 points for every goalie stop. And Kaylee has a half a dozen of them.
The offensive 2-man game that Haley Warden and Charlotte North are running together, they are mixing up the defense. It's a little bit of a miscue defensively in terms of their communication, so it's working for them. I think they should continue taking that look.
Kayla Wood, oh, to be young, right? She was injured a couple of weekends ago, bounced back so quickly. Wood, 45 in the blue, defending. Majorana rings one off the iron. That's off the post, and Waters is again adventurous back behind the goal. Kaylee Waters switching hands, plays for Amanda Johansen, who we heard mic'd up a few moments ago. Stay with us between quarters 2 and 3. A best of Into the Game, presented by Air National Guard, will come your way. Mastriani on the go, picked up by Geiger. Geyer's back. looking in the direction of Shayna Pareka, playing against her sister today. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Courtney Fortunato. Johansen hummed that one way wide. Warden was in the shooting lane. The backup belongs to Geyers, back with 17 seconds to shoot. We'll see Apuzzo and Marino in game 2. Snapshot, Geyers back, scores!
Sam Geyers back, loves that low lefty elbow dodging position. We saw her do it 5 times in one of the NCAA games. It's her bread and butter. She's able to oftentimes gain a step on those defensive players. That little jab to her right-hand side throws them off every time, but she loves coming back to that strong lefty bull over the top shoulder. Right there, almost at it, Glynn in goal, but Sam Geyers back successful as she's tied this game up at 5.
Would have loved to have been a pop star in a dream life, Sam Geyers back. She said she didn't know how much she loved lacrosse until she thought it was over. And then Athletes Unlimited came a-calling, and she has been one to watch this summer. The tail end now, this is game 23 of 24. The final weekend, we will be crowning an individual champion once the doubleheader game between Team Apuzzo and Team Marino is done, once all the MVP voting has been tabulated. One champion, 4 medalists. The all-defensive team and the Defensive Player of the Year, presented by Geico, will all be announced in our second game at its conclusion. Geyers back for Fortunato. Fortunato on the move, whistles that one, and Katie Glynn has it at her feet. Courtney Fortunato said that she studied Italian in middle school and in high school, but she says it's all gone now, Courtney. Va bene. I'm not going to hold it against her. I have a similar story. I've never shared it with you, but I will. It's too long for air, trust me.
You do know I was a Romance language major.
I didn't, and I wish I could speak Italian with you and Courtney Fortunato till the cows come home. I used to be able to try and do it. I'm not going to get into it. It's too long a story. Back to lacrosse. 34 seconds to go. Shot clock at 26. Scoreboard, the race for those 20 points, 3-2 favor the team in purple. North going to goal against Block, turns right into the double. That was an all-team USA clash there. Meg Dowdy with the answer, the cause turnover in the clear. On the button for McPartland. McPartland 5-on-4. Scotty Rose Growney, score! End-to-end wonderful lacrosse.
They just managed to squeak one in before the end of this quarter, and it ties everything at 3. I thought Team Glynn was gonna cruise in, get the 20 points, but you can't count anybody out till the shot clock is done. An excellent double team from the defensive end of the field. Kelly McPartland breaking out and getting the ball into the ever-capable hands of Scotty Rose Growney. She had a lot of time and room in front of her. Nice low shot. As they've tied things up, this is what makes every quarter so exciting. Everything matters that you do on the field. It started with the cause turnover for the defense at the other end of the field, and on the flip side, any mistakes do count as well. So Charlotte North with a -6 for that turnover.
Win of the draw here, Kennedy going to the cooker. Allie Kennedy, split dodge from right to left, fanned on the shot, blocked by Block. Follow-up chance, that's turned away by Waters. And the half comes to an exciting conclusion. The second quarter, those 20 points will roll over now to the third as a result of a 3-3 draw in the second. Charlotte North has been shooting up a storm. Aly Mastroianni yet to be heard from, but you can count on her in the second half. Stay right there with us. It's Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse on ESPN. Presented by Geico today, enjoying things from USA Lacrosse headquarters on a gorgeous afternoon in Sparks, Maryland. Must be a great day to be out on the water or live in the water inside the aquarium. 6'5", Team Johansen has the advantage. We're about 20 miles north of Baltimore. The second quarter was split 3 goals apiece, so the third will carry over and be worth 40 exciting points when we return to the live action. Folks, it's time to earn points for watching. If you're an Unlimited Club member, enter the code on the screen into your Athletes Unlimited app. You'll earn points. You'll move up the leaderboard. The Unlimited Club provides great benefits, including voting on league decisions. You'll be interacting with players. There's a chance for autographed items and much more. For more info, go to auprosports.com. It has been a real treat for us to eavesdrop on the players into the game with Air National Guard this summer. Here's a review of the best of clips from the season.
Double tap me. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. You want to get up? You want to get up? Yeah, you do. Yeah, ride it. Ride it. We got a ticket to ride on this train. We got a ticket to ride.
I got 2 on the elbow. Take her through. Stay on the elbow. Yeah, I'm coming. Guys, I'm really excited my dad's here. Guys, it's a Thursday, like, you know what I mean? It's so cool. I feel like this is a good song for Sammy. Sammy, because I can see you going like this as you enter a room.
I want to make a ham sandwich.
You got it?
Ham sandwich. Initials.
Get the joke, Ben?
Joe. His name is Joe.
Benny. Oh, you don't like me. You give me nothing. I'm kidding.
Thanks, guys. I haven't moved like that since 2016.
H Money, are you raving about this weather right now? I'm soaking it all in because Saturday and Sunday.
I know, you're not like.
I'm gonna be drenched.
So you might as well just like top off today.
Might as well. It's Thursday night. It's ladies' night, I heard. Let's go! First lefty goal of the year.
Hell yeah.
That was
such a nice
Was
goal.
it? I thought she had it.
It was right in between her stick and her head.
I really thought she had it.
He help. That hit me. That hit my arm. No, she hit my arm right here.
You could see? Is it hit your hand?
So I need to act, is what you're saying. To act. She's saying I need to act like it hit me.
Hey, good job.
I mean, that is the biggest flop ever. I'm sorry. Yeah, Grace, come. No, up. That did look serious.
We're kidding.
We love each other. It's a joke.
Well, she's trying to get in my head. She's been working on it. She sent me her Instagram post that AU posted like for her of the goal in the scrimmage. And she goes, "No more righty crippler, only lefty bouncers." I was like, okay, Marie. Oh, way to get a piece of that, Kelly. Kelly, great job. I love Happy Joe.
We can't let Taylor get hot early. No. She's good, especially when we hit her in the stick.
If you got in her head,
If we're gonna shoot from the outside, stick side low.
Yeah.
Nicole, get out of my face, boss.
You don't want to look at how pretty I am? Ooh. Stick side low, Taylor. It's coming. Stick side low. I knew you wouldn't. That's why I was yelling it. I was trying to get in her head. You think it worked? Oh yeah, we did golf yesterday. KO got a birdie. KO got a birdie on the 18th hole. Charlotte. You know what I'm feeling? No, go back over there. You know what I'm feeling for lunch later? A sandwich.
That's 2. Let's go. Ready, out. Yes, good skip. Good skip, Kelsey. Let's go. Kelsey, that's all because of you. Good job.
Great job to everyone in the tape room, all the guys and gals in the truck for helping with those. Those are fantastic. I see Alex Ost-Holman in the crowd there, awaiting her opportunity to finish the doubleheader. Scotty Rose Growney completed the opening half scoring summary with a pretty goal. Courtney joins me for highlights right after this. Beautiful Sunday afternoon in the Mid-Atlantic region nearby the Inner Harbor of Baltimore. Game 23 of 24 in Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse Season 2. after 2 quarters. Team Johansen has the advantage. That third quarter coming up is going to be worth 40 due to the second quarter carryover. Folks, at the end of a new season, we still have that new look. Those new merchandise items are available. Be sure to check them out with brand new Athletes Unlimited lacrosse items, including player name and number t-shirts. Go to shop.auprosports.com. That's shop.auprosports.com. You can purchase yours today. It's the final day of the regular season for Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse. Joe and Courtney with you in court. We expect these athletes to put out 100% effort in each and every game. You understand if they're tired, though, but have you seen any signs of weariness in the first 20 minutes?
No signs of weariness. These players want to come out here, compete at their best, finish with a win with their respective teams because it's the very last game of the season. But as we see a lot of jokes happening on the field, they also want to be light, too.
It's been a thrill for us to document the rookie season of Charlotte North. She is setting the pace now for goals this summer. She already has 3 so far today.
Charlotte North always managing to put herself in the right position to receive the ball. This was a fast break out of the defensive end. Allie Kennedy using her speed, seeing Charlotte North. Right here, she's highlighted. She put herself in a position. She has the ability to shoot 2-pointers. Her foot was on the line that time, but she is a powerful shooter. Plain and simple. She creates a lot of torque with her stick and the whip that it has. Behind the goal cage, she can be incredibly crafty with or without the ball in her stick. She knows when and where to cut. Anytime you see your defensive player turn their head and look at the ball, that's the right time to cut. And another little look, a 2-man game. So she's showing her versatility on the field, working with Haley Warden, her teammate in purple. But she doesn't take this on the underside for a little pick and pop or a pick and slip. She takes her defender on the top side because there was a lot of space to work with. And then a lot of traffic defensively that she had to shoot around.
Charlotte, in another life, would be a basketball player. She'd definitely be a 3-point shooting threat. She can get 2 in this, but all 3 singles in the opening half. As we are 6-5 for Team Johansen. Shot story being led by Team Kaylee Glynn. Both teams getting back to the playing surface. We are set to put them back in the sunlight for quarter number 3. Folks are catching some rays at USA Lacrosse headquarters. All hands on deck for the start of the third. Team Kaylee Glynn squaring off against Team Amanda Johansen, whose netminder is Kaylee Waters. Joe Beninati, Courtney Martinez, Connor with you. Third quarter unfolds. A big tip of the cap to all the men and women in our technical crew for all their efforts throughout the 4 weeks of Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse. This is the final game of the season for these 2 squads. 1 more to come over on ESPNU this afternoon at 3:30, Team Apuzzo and Team Marino, and it's likely that one of those 2 captains will be crowned the individual champion, as Taylor Cummings was 1 summer ago. Cummings, in 15 games worth of play, was 1,943 points on the leaderboard. Amanda Johansen directing traffic. This third quarter, Courtney, is worth 40 points for the team that wins the frame, all 14 players on the roster. Due to the carryover, the tie in the second quarter, Scotty Rose Growney gets the frame off to a flying start. Her second on the day.
Scotty Rose Growney, so quick when she's making moves offensively. Quick change of direction. As we watch this next play, Kelly McPartland giving the ball to her on a flip. Everybody thought she was going towards the middle, even her defensive player, Courtney Taylor right here. And the stop on a dime, actually, and then a change of direction. That's what threw the defense off. Watch this once again, coming off of that flip play, taking her lane to the inside. So excellent job of her teammate, Kelly McPartland, clearing that space for her so she could switch back.
All right, Coach Martinez, Connor, how do you coach young players to do combination moves like that? There's not just one dodge in that replay, there's multiple dodges.
When you practice any one of your dodges, after you've excelled, right, working on all of them, you practice doing multiple dodges at once. If you don't practice it, you're never going to do it on the field. So a 2 or a 3-step dodge is very important to work on as well, not just one dodge at a time.
Scotty Rose Growney, her dad played indoors professionally with the Philadelphia Wings, father Scott. Her cousin Dox Aiken, a 2-time national champion at Virginia, plays in the PLL. On the move, Scotty Rose Growney gets topside, shovels to Geyer's back. Geyer's back, angled, turned back by Pareka, and Sydney going to be whistled here for another card. Sydney Pareka, 44 purple, playing this day against her sister, Shayna, 41 blue. Here, she fouls Geyer's back.
Geyer's back as she was heading towards goal. That swipe right there, reaching for the stick across the body, which is allowed. But since it was inside of that 8-meter key, she is going to get a free position.
1-on-1 against Glynn. Elects not to shoot it with a fresh 60-second shot clock for Team Johansen. 90 seconds into the third, 7-5 for the gals in blue. Long range, whammo from deep, Mastriani, a 2-point rocket.
I like the fact that Sam Geyer's back didn't take that 8-meter free position. We've seen goalkeepers stuff a lot of outside shots. It's coming straight from the center. Their eyes are locked in. But when she moved the ball out, it meant that they were really going to work the 6-on-5 power play. They have an extra person on the field. You move the ball quickly. You get the defense shifting as well as the goalkeeper. And she had a lot of time to wind up on this last one as she did a rocket into the upper 90.
Lynn Bowers is going to want to review this. Mastriani was getting awfully close to that paint the 8-meter key. The bench says 2. I agree with them, but Lynn Bowers will have a look at the tablet. Good people at Score Break helping out throughout the summertime. Lynn will have a look, and if any part of Mastriani's foot is on that 8-meter key, she's on the hash, but I don't believe she's on the arc. Beautiful release for that low to high elevator shot.
Just a bit of good form on that last one. She's worked on that a time or two. So the official review is different than a team review. So the official review, that's something that they just want to take another look at. A team is not using one of their challenges in this instance. But as we take another look right here, it's close. It's incredibly close. I think it's lucky that her shoe is the same color as the line. It's really hard to tell.
Mastriani with a hat trick, regardless of whether or not it's 1 or 2. But remember, there are 40 points on the line in this third quarter, which still has oodles of time left in it. A lengthy review, sharing all possible replay angles. Is that left toe on the 8-meter key? Definitely on the hash. Is it on the key? Overpowering Katie Glynn, and that's not easy to do from 8 meters away. Mastriani says, let's get back to work. She's ready to go inside the draw circle with Haley Warden. And yet still, the officials will deliberate.
Haley Warden was a part of the James Madison Duke team that won a national championship.
Let's hear from Lynn Bowers.
After further review, first of all, this was an official's review. This remains a 1-point goal. Her foot was on the line.
Officially, Lynn Bowers saying that Mastriani's left foot, that front plant foot, was down on the 8-meter key. So instead of 9-5, shrink the lead to 8-5, 2-0 overall for Team Johansen in the third quarter. That's worth 40. Team Johansen and Team Glynn, both of them looking for their first wins of the week. Team Johansen on a 4 unanswered point run over the last 3 minutes and change. Johansen losing to Team Apuzzo 8-5, losing a nail-biter to Team Marino yesterday 10-9. That was the game Kelly McPartland had on her cross with 3 seconds to go. Sydney Pareka wanders ahead. Parekha driving towards the 8-meter key, plays catch with Izzy Mcmahon. Picked up on the outside by Meg Dowdy. Dowdy so grateful to Athletes Unlimited for putting all these great players on a pedestal. Missed a few games with injury early on in pool play with the Team USA in the Women's World Championships. Pelton, Pelton deflected that one into her own goal. Off of 31 blue, into the empty cage. No chance for Waters.
That's just unlucky. And defensively, you have to wipe it from your mind and just move on to the next play. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players on each team that's out on the field. And Kaylee Waters, I love how she's active outside of the cage. She didn't have to come out, but she was looking to knock this pass down from Charlotte North. And as she was looking to step in front of Aly Mastroianni, it was the stick of her defensive player, the one who wasn't quite on Aly, Kira Pelton, whose stick just happened to knock that ball into the goal.
Oh, and the reaction of Pelton says it all. As Waters was stepping out, looking to intercept the pass to Mastroianni, off of Pelton and in, just a bad break. Now the question is for the officials as they huddle up, all 5 of them, Bowers, Leslie, Anton, Wakes, and Brush. Is this a 2? Because the original pass originated from beyond the key. And the officials holding up the 2 fingers. Charlotte North, who leads the league in 2-point goals, is about to get the most generous one of her summer. 2-point tally. So that'll make it 8-7. North equaling her best in a single game with her 4th goal on the day. And that's gift wrapped by Kira Pelton, who can't believe it. Oh no, woe is me. Kira Pelton, who loves the Exploratorium in San Francisco. She lists Cookie Carr as the player, the mentor who made such a huge difference in her playing life. Kira's boo-boo there gives North her 4th on the day and has made it a 1-point game, and in the process has tied the quarter up at 2 points apiece, a quarter that already has carryover value. The wind continuing to howl. It's freshened in the second half. Temperatures in the 70s. Throughout this Athletes Unlimited Season 2, we've seen temps on the field be over 100, but today a very pleasant day with which to conclude this campaign. Stay right there with us over on ESPNU at 3:30 expected start time. A game that is likely to crown the champion between Team Sam Apuzzo and Team Taylor Marino.
Joe, that was just a lot of pressure for Alyssa Perella. She was trying to bring that ball in from out of bounds, not once, twice, but 3 times. And the defense, Amanda Johansen, Becca Block, getting that knockdown.
Geyer's back, top side. Geyer's back with room there for a second. Closed off quickly, though, by Sydney Parekha. Great defensive footwork. Scotty Rose Growney hovering around the 8-meter key. Slings that one, fought off by Katie Glynn. 6.5 to go in a 40-point third quarter. Geiger breezing back. McPartland right there. Crunches her with a cross check. That's a foul. Those two exchange pleasantries. McPartland, who played collegiately at Maryland. Geiger, who is a past 2-time captain of the Greyhounds of Loyola. Mastroianni ripped off by Pelton. The cause turnover there. Good for 12 points for Kira. Kira was among the top 15 on the leaderboard last year. Every team she played with was winning. She had an amazing 1-loss record of 12-3.
Now that's definitely one of the keys for Athletes Unlimited. You need to win. I remember after that first week, we had talked about Taylor Cummings, that she needed to be on a winning team because she was doing well individually, statistically, as well as MVP points, but her team wasn't winning on that very first week.
Waters in blue, the highest player on the leaderboard right now that's active in this game. She's cresting up to 1,300 points rather. Geyer's back off the roll dodge. Shot clock's at 14 right here for Growney to go to goal. She scores! A brilliant individual effort.
We see that huge smile on Scotty Rose Growney's face. She is always looking to better her game, and as we watch her in this one-on-one challenge with her defensive player, this potentially could be a Sports Center top 10 play. We see that roll, the back and forth, getting on the underside of her defensive player, and the backhanded shot seems to be the one of selection within so many players here in Athletes Unlimited.
That's not just any defender that she turnstiled right there. That's impressive rookie Courtney Taylor. Scotty Rose Growney right by her, and then acrobatically to the roof for a Sports Center top 10 nominee.
You know, the two of them saw one another quite a bit this past season. They were both still playing for BC as well as UNC respectively. And Scotty Rose Growney was the one walking away with a national championship. Excellent job as Mira Shane, always keeping it light for Team Johansen.
Mira Shane has so much energy. It's so much fun to watch. Scotty Rose Growney, another hat trick for her. The one that I remember most, Courtney, this season, Scotty Rose, his previous hat trick was the one that tied the game late, the game that eventually went to the shootout. Scotty Rose Growney was a major factor in that game. We are 9-7 right now. Team Johansen has a 3-2 lead in the fourth. That's worth 40. Still 5 minutes to settle this quarter, which seems like it's taking an eternity to play. We've had a couple of reviews and challenges. North hesitates. Charlotte picking her way around the key. Play it outside. This is Haley Warden to the elbow, marked by Johansen. On the redodge, shoved below goal line, extended. Warden, tight quarters, snapshot there. Waters so quick, ready for Stevens in a heartbeat. Kaylee Waters, a save total 9 again. She's had 9 saves in all of her 3 games this week. Mastriani will walk it up. One of the few times today we've seen the tempo slow a bit as these two teams are emptying the tank in their final game of Athletes Unlimited. It's game 23 of the 24 scheduled. All the players, if they played all of them, would have played 12 this summer. Fortunato on the go. She'll flip. Geyer's back. Has room inside, but crossing over. There's Captain Katie Glynn. The clearing effort, though, gets away from Geiger. It's a turnover to Fortunato and more offensive time for Team Johansen late in the quarter.
I like the fact that the team in purple, they were looking to get the ball out quickly to start their transition. But unfortunately, that turnover has cost them because this is yet another opportunity.
Shayna Pareca fires. Katie Glynn's side has coughed it up 8 times today. Team Johansen 5 as Glynn loops the outlet. Taylor sprinting to it in a tussle there with McPartland out of bounds. The officials awarding the ball to Team Johansen. We've got the timeout at USA Lacrosse headquarters. A chance for everybody to catch their breath. Scotty Rose Growney twisting, turning, and doing the job on ESPN. The third quarter today is worth 40 points after the carryover from the even Stevens second. It's 9-7 overall for Team Johansen. Sunday Night Baseball coming up. Yanks and Red Sox finishing up 3 games at the Fens. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN. ESPN Deportes and ESPN Radio. Coverage beginning at 6 Eastern with baseball tonight's Sunday Night Countdown. Aaron Judge leading the world in home runs. Rafael Devers, no slouch for the Sox. Be sure to tune in as Michael Kay and A-Rod have their special K-Rod presentation on ESPN2 with their special guest tonight, the captain, Derek Jeter. We are 9-7 for Team Johansen. Charlotte North having herself a day as she has scored 4 goals in this one for the 3rd time in her pro career. We know you'd love to win an autographed lacrosse ball signed by Charlotte. Now you can. Go to auprosports.com/sweepstakes to register to win today. There's no purchase necessary. There are other restrictions that may apply. Good to see Charlotte North out there. Charlotte was the #1 selection in 2 of the Athletes Unlimited drafts this summer, and she has been a scoring demon today.
You know, she's really feeling herself today. When you have the opportunity to score in a lot of different ways, transition from behind, a little two-man work, and your shooting game is on par, then you know you're doing something right. In this last one, it may have been a defensive miscue, but Aly Mastroianni, she was coming from the backside of the cage wide open, so she was prepared to feed that ball inside. But Charlotte North, I think, is ending so far this final game for her of Athletes Unlimited how she started.
Charlotte North, who played piano as a kid, tickling the Ivories today to the tune of 4 goals. That was a 2-pointer. In Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse, you get credit for 2 points when you score beyond the 8-meter key, 16 points for yourself on your leaderboard total. Charlotte, entering play today, was ranked 17th on the leaderboard. Just a reminder, the battle of numbers 1 and 2. Sam Apuzzo and Taylor Marino. That will come up 3:30 Eastern time on ESPNU. It is likely that one of those two will be the individual champion this summer in Athletes Unlimited. Fortunato angles in, 2-person game with Johansen, and that's a rip upstairs from Fortunato.
Courtney Fortunato started off this season a little quiet, came into her own in weeks 2 and 3. And then we see her back to that old form. She is a Dodger through and through, but she is also a threat inside. This little two-man game that seems to be working so well on the field today. As soon as Johansen came and set this pick, they're looking for any open opportunities. We see Johansen shielding the defense right there from getting through and being able to make a play on Courtney Fortunato, who utilized her strength, her power shooting impressiveness on the field.
The daughter of Ted and Chrissy started playing lacrosse in 4th grade, did Courtney Fortunato. She actually started skiing, which she says really brings the family together. Courtney started skiing at age 3. Grew up in Northport on Long Island, New York. Charlotte North working against Kayla Wood. 10-7 now is the score. In the 4th quarter, the points are 4-2 in favor of Johansen. This 3rd quarter is worth 40. Kennedy powers into the dodge, stopped by Waters, rebound, score! An easy finish for Haley Warden, but they're not going to credit this goal. There was a whistle prior to the strike, so no goal for Warden, and possession for Team Johansen in blue. I'm guessing that was a crease violation, Court.
Let's take a peek as we look in the upper right-hand side of our screen. The shot by Allie Kennedy off the post, and then Haley Warden. Looks like she got rid of that before maybe her toes stepped on the crease.
The officials, though, washing out the tally from Warden. Shayna Pareca on the flip. Long drive, score!
So that's an unfortunate one. From the defensive end, they got a break, Team Johansen. And this was not called a goal. Haley Warden scooping that ball out, wasn't called a goal, and Team Johansen quickly translated this to the opposite end of the field. Fast break, Scotty Rose Growney benefiting as she was cutting up around the crease with nobody in sight. Johansen had the vision, and just the defense of Team Glynn could not collect themselves quick enough after the goal at the opposite end was not counted.
Scotty Rose Growney has 4 today. That's her individual high game of the summer. There are 6 players in league history that have scored a record 5 goals in a single game. It's happened twice this season, Kenzie Kent and Kelsey Huff. And still tons of time for Scotty Rose Growney to tie or eclipse that record. Draw circle possession, Allie Kennedy comes up with it. Becca Block running stride for stride with her fellow Women's World Championship Team USA gold medal member. This is Kennedy, who will drop it back off to Haley Warden. challenged on the outside by Mastriani. 70 seconds left in quarter 3. The quarter points being led by Team Johansen, and there's double points on the line. It's worth 40 in the third. North with all day to fire. She scores! Speaking of people with 5 goals in a game, Charlotte North add to the list.
A very much needed 2-point goal for Team Glynn. Charlotte North knew exactly what to do as Allie Kennedy was setting this pick, working on a little 2-man game with Charlotte. She had the time, the room, the space, the wherewithal to take this challenge more towards the middle, so she had a lot of accuracy coming out of that stick. Again, her pocket that she has just allows her to whip that ball, but she stayed well clear of that 8-meter key, so this was not even a question in terms of 2 points or not.
Folks in the stands want lessons from the great 88. She has 7 twos this summer. Charlotte North, who began her pro career in Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse back on July 21st with a couple of 2-pointers. Stevens looking for North again. Charlotte will bluff it. Taylor Vanthoff to Charlotte North. Sets and fires. She scores! The single game record. Most goals in one contest now belongs to Charlotte North.
Teach me your wind-up, Charlotte. Yes, indeed. In this third quarter, Charlotte North has had 3 2-point goals. She has the hot hand. She's putting herself in the best position to be scoring these. And not only has she done that, but making a record, she has tied up this game for her team, and that's what's most important.
Tied up the game and actually taken the lead in the quarter, believe it or not. They were down 5-2, a heartbeat ago. Back-to-back 2, 6 markers for Charlotte North. And suddenly it's 6-5 by my count in the third quarter for Team Glynn with a 40 points on the line. This is not surprising for someone the likes of Charlotte North. I noticed on her resume a 10-goal game against Virginia Tech in 2021 while she was a Boston College Eagle. Kayla Wood looking for the ground ball, trying to scoop here against Courtney Taylor. It does come up for Team Johansen, and there's a timeout taken by the Team Johansen facilitator, Nicole Flores.
You could see the look on Aly Mastroianni's face right there. She wanted to take off to the races, maybe create a man-up opportunity in transition. But nevertheless, when in doubt, it's always good to call a timeout. You have one each quarter per team. Make sure you're on the same page offensively, because this is incredibly important, as you were mentioning, for those 40 points.
Charlotte North rewriting the record book, a half a dozen goals. These last 2, Courtney, were both 2s, and they happened in lightning quick fashion.
Back-to-back 2-point goals off of a 2-man sweep. The other one out of a fast break transition from the draw control. And she just manages to have her eyes on that goal. She changes up where she is shooting the ball each and every time. And they were just 15 seconds apart. Back-to-back goals, 2 points at that with 15 seconds.
Incredible work from Charlotte North. She has such a brilliant shooting stroke. And there's a young member in her family who helps to keep her grounded, because right now I'm sure the head should be swelling. She's setting records. She's approaching the 30-goal plateau, if not that or more. But there's someone who keeps her grounded, right?
She has a younger brother, William. He's 9 years old, and she calls him her best friend, and I absolutely love that. He doesn't care if she wins or loses, but he's always the first one to tell her how she did in a game.
I guess she's responding from being blanked for the first time ever yesterday by Team Apuso. Now she has responded with a vengeance. 6 goals and counting. Final 12 seconds of the quarter. Those 40 quarter points are on the line. It's huge. Team Glynn has the lead 6-5. Fortunato trying for the equalizer, or maybe even more if Shayna Pareca could wind up for 2. But now ball down. The quarter and 40 points goes to Team Glynn. 6-5 thanks to the heroics of Charlotte North. They get the 40, 11-11 down the stretch with an action-packed 10 minutes to go. We'll get you back for more Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse on ESPN. that is a logical bench reaction for what was a frantic third quarter. 11 points in total. And Team Glynn winning the carryover, so that's 40 points for them, as you can tell. When you win the game, everybody on your roster gets 45. This is the second to last game of the second season of Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse. Speaking of Athletes Unlimited and great sports action, softball wrapping up week 3 in season 3. A couple of games tonight. Team Chittister against Team Jaquesh. And then McLenny squares off against Mulipola at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Both of those games on ESPN+. They are running that season through, I believe it is August 28th. Started July 29th. It's the first time ever that they've had Athletes Unlimited seasons concurrently at the same time with softball and lacrosse. And leaderboard-wise, the heavy hitter Mulipola, over 1,000, setting the pace still with a couple weeks left to play on the calendar. This is the final game for Team Johansen and Team Glynn. Both of them looking for their first wins of the weekend inside the lacrosse festivities. 11 all with 10 minutes to go. If we are tied at the end of regulation, a 3-minute sudden victory period would happen. First goal wins it. If there are no goals in the sudden victory, then we would move to the shootout, which we have seen one of this summer. First of 2 games, the reminder, Team Marino and Team Apuzzo warming up. They go 3:30 for you over on ESPNU. Joe Beninati, Courtney Martinez, Connor, another big tip of the cap to all the men and women in our technical crew as we wind up this second season. A new home for us. A season ago, played at Maureen Hendricks Field outside of Washington, D.C. Also in the state of Maryland, though, were we. Geyer's back. Roll dodge on Kennedy. Fires. She pumped it wide of Katie Glynn. Taylor Cummings was the inaugural season winner. Fortunato brings it in off the end line. A speed dodge there, and she was foiled. Well played by Geiger. Katrina, end-to-end speed. Geiger running into the fast break 5-on-4. Calls her own number and snapped it wide. Why not for Katrina Geiger? No goals in her career. She's seen Becca Block score today for the first time. A defender turning the light on.
Oftentimes in transition, if you have numbers, you want to maneuver the ball, hit one of those open players. I think she took that shot because nobody defensively stepped up to slow her down. They weren't honoring the defense, which we've seen them do time and time again here. That's why Becca Block able to get herself on the board.
Geyer's back, beating 2 defenders, with Sydney Pareca still attached to her all the way through the 8-meter key. Behind the goal, it's been a nice afternoon for Scotty Rose Growney. She takes off, turns, fires and scores! Scotty Rose Growney's 5th gives Team Johansen the lead.
This is one of those textbook moves from behind the goal cage. You want to talk about learning how to dodge different ways from X. X meaning right from the back of the cage. And this wasn't necessarily a picture perfect question mark. I call this one 4 up, 4 back because it wasn't a huge arc that she took off of it.
It was flat.
But nevertheless, she gave herself space, and that is the whole point. You want to carry your defensive player up above that goal line extended, and as she turned back, that quick release that she shot that ball with made it very difficult for Katie Glynn to keep track.
Scotty Rose Growney always hears her dad in her head. Have fun, honor the game. Well, she is having a monster performance today with the 5 goals that would have tied a record were it not for Charlotte North's heroics this afternoon. Scotty Rose Growney during her collegiate season at North Carolina, one in which she won a national championship. 10 times she had 3 goals or better for the Tar Heels this past spring. 7:47 left in regulation. Team Johansen has the 1-0 lead in the 4th, the 12-11 lead overall, and the ball. Amanda Johansen guiding her troops. 6-on-6 at this end. There is a 60-second shot clock in Athletes Unlimited. McPartland will roam. I love it when Kelly told us she's a 29-year-old who eats like a 5-year-old. Excuse me, Sydney Parecka, nutritionist, wants a word with you on line 1 as it's gunned wide by Mastriani.
Listen, don't knock the sweets.
Who's knocking it? Johansen turns against Warden. Warden with a sneaky takeaway check there. Fortunato keeps it alive and drives one to Glynn as she made the rejection. It should be a new shot clock after the goalie save, and it is, as we've crept past the 3-minute mark of the 4th.
As they slow things down, taking some air out of the ball, they want to make sure they're getting those best looks on cage. This is just a 1-goal game now after those monstrous 3 2-pointers by Charlotte North in the 3rd quarter. The tides had changed, so they're looking to get the swing, the momentum back for Team Johansen.
Pump fake from Fortunato halfway through the shot clock. Here's Mastriani, who has also had a hand in more than a few goals today. Lost her balance there awkwardly. And then Aly comes up complaining, looking for a foul call. None from the officials. Shot clock's at 15. Mastriani in a mad mood, going to goal with Geyersbach, and she converts. Geyersbach finds the back of the cage from a sharp angle.
Katie Glynn, as she was searching for this ball, she wasn't quite sure that it went in. This one squeaked just by her in that low corner. As Aly Mastroianni was a part of this play after getting up, after being knocked herself. This one just right off of her foot, it looks like. Quick ball movement, Geyersbach from the low angle, and we saw it hit just off of that right foot as she was stepping. That's what goalkeepers are taught to do. You want to accelerate to the ball, and she did that, but just that trail leg is where that ball just knocked right off of, and we can't quite see it there behind that black Athletes Unlimited, but it did squeak through.
Geyersbach's second of the day. The earlier one came back in quarter number 2. In the 4th now, Team Johansen with the only 2 markers on the board, chasing those 20 points for everybody on your side. We've talked so often about the Geico leaderboard in Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse, and on this final day, every point you can muster is important. Block with a one-handed shovel to keep this alive, looking for the draw control points. They belong to Aly Kennedy. She bolts to the cage. A pass for McMahon that gets away. That's a turnover. Aly disgustedly, I should say, smacking the turf with her cross, upset with herself after that mistake. Pelton wanders back through midfield. 5.5 to go in this one. It'll be a quick turnaround, and we'll get set for Team Marino and Team Apuzzo over on ESPNU beginning at 3:30. Scotty Rose Growney not yet done with her work. She's got 5 goals today for the team in blue. Charlotte North has set a record with 6 on the board for Team Glynn in purple. The last 3 from North have all been from behind the 8-meter key. That is where Geyersbach is positioned right now. Through the weave with Mastriani. Off the face dodge, she roofs another one. Aly Mastroianni.
Aly Mastroianni, a player who is using her intensity on the field just to propel her offensively. That's her 4th of the day.
Aly Mastroianni is going to take the flip. And then, in a bad mood, after she thought she was fouled, she takes it all out on Katie Glynn. Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse on ESPN is brought to you by Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com. 5 weeks after Media Day, we bring Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse Season 2 to a close. Alex Ost-Holman will be playing in the nightcap. So will Britt Reed, there with her wife, Christy Foote. We wish them all the very, very best. They're expecting a child in December. It'll be a boy. Team Johansen has a 3-0 advantage in the fourth quarter of play. That's distanced them from Team Glynn. Overall, 14-11 as the teams chase the 45 points for winning the game throughout this Athletes Unlimited lacrosse season. Sam Geyer's back in a really good mood right there as we show you the Geico leaderboard up to the minute. We are getting set for what should be an extremely exciting conclusion to the season in Game 24 between Team Apuzzo and Team Marino. There are the respective captains and how they've earned points. So Sam Apuzzo begins the day with a 57-point lead over Taylor Marino, and they will clash in the final game of the season coming up on ESPNU. Sam Apuzzo, as gifted as you will find from an offensive standpoint, her mind for the game is tremendous. Marino, the rookie, has had no stage fright making saves this season.
The two of them have been just leading their team here in this final week. They've played tremendously throughout all of Athletes Unlimited Season 2, and they're going to be the two to watch. The team that comes out on top winning the most quarter points, I think, is going to be the one to win.
On a breezy day at USA Lacrosse headquarters in Sparks, Maryland. Beautiful afternoon. Temperatures in the 70s, low 80s maybe. We're about 20 miles north of Baltimore. Aly Mastroianni is putting on a show, as is Scotty Rose Growney for their team, Team Johansen. Charlotte North on the opposite side. North with a 6-goal game, a record in one contest for Athletes Unlimited, as we have still 4.5 minutes with which to work. Scotty Rose Growney sweeping in against Perella. Off the flip to Geyer's back. Geyer's back gets inside, and she sent it wide. Alyssa Perella there defensively has been helping her family with a new restaurant on Long Island. Turning the corner, Scotty Rose Growney for Johansen to pump it. She scores! A 2-point marker for Johansen.
Amanda Johansen had a nagging injury in week 2, and it is not bothering her at all here in week 4. The final week of Athletes Unlimited, she's just showing her leadership on the field as they have extended their lead yet again. This is a 2-point goal. It's now an 11-16 game, but she has height to her advantage. She has power, she has strength, and I like her excitement after this. She doesn't think of herself as someone who can pump up others, but I think the lead being extended, you look at the smiles, the cheers from her teammates, and she has them going.
She was 5 for 11 from 2-point range last season. That's a 2 for Amanda, growing the lead to 16-11. And Courtney, I need a word with you because I'm running out of room on my score sheet. 16-11 is a very, very high-scoring game this summer.
High-scoring game. It is the highest-scoring game to date for Athletes Unlimited here in Season 2.
Charlotte North not yet finished, I'm sure, putting her signature to this game. Shot clock at 33. Vanthoff pumps one right to Kaylee Waters. Waters is in double figures again. She has 11 stops. Kaylee, who began the day on the leaderboard, ranked 7th. She was a huge climber last week. From week 3 to week 4, she rose 18 spots on the leaderboard. This is going to be an over and back call against Team Johansen, so the possession awarded to Team Glynn in purple.
You know, now that I think about it, 4 2-point goals in one game, I'm not sure if we've ever seen that before either.
We've had a whole bunch, and I think North is the first to ever have 3 in a single game. As McMahon goes to goal, speaking of someone who knows about the 2-pointer, this is a bounce shot score. Kennedy says, I can score from inside the key as well.
Team Glynn looking for just the 2-pointers, their last 2 possessions, and now they're realizing you can just chip away one at a time. So I like this. Izzy Mcmahon shaking and baking, drawing the double. As soon as Johansen left, Allie Kennedy cutting into that space. Again, there's a lot of time, 3 minutes, a lot of time to score goals. We've seen it happen in just 6 seconds. So they can be back into this game. It's now just a 4-goal game. but you got to win the draw control first and foremost, and then move the ball quickly offensively.
After Charlotte North went berserk in the third quarter, it's been a 7-minute, 45-second dry spell until Allie Kennedy gets on the board. That puts an end to a 5-point run for Team Johansen. Makes it 16-12. With the amount of goals and points that are going up in this game, and we are nowhere near its conclusion. Not yet ready to name Johansen the victor. On top by 4. Taylor comes up with a draw control as the bodies go crashing to the turf. Possession for Team Glynn in the purple. Lost its opener 13-8 Thursday night to Team Marino. Fell to Sam Apuzzo's squad 11-5. Apuzzo had 4 goals in that game, as did Grace Griffin. Those two are warming up for our doubleheader game. Aly Mastroianni has climbed into 5th, trying to sneak in among the 4 medalists. We'll do that. We'll hand out the champion and 4 medalists, name the all-defensive team and the Geico Defensive Player of the Year once our day is done in Game 2 and once the MVP voting has been tabulated. McPartland will bring it along, a shade more than 2 minutes to go in the 4th. A very enjoyable game, and I am running out of ink and score sheet now.
I know you have extra cartridges in your bag.
Yes, I do. And I'm definitely going to be reloading between games 1 and 2 today.
You know, as they're slowing things down, you got to press out if you're Team Glynn. You need the ball back. You have to score. You get it back in another 20, but every second counts.
I don't see any problem, Courtney, with 8-5 games, but the play-by-play guy in me loves 16-12. Mastriani off the hitch. Outside Johansen for 2 again. Rejected by Katie Glynn. Super steady keeper. Among the medalists a season ago was Katie. Floats this one along. She has 9 stops once more today. Final 80 seconds of regulation. Team Glynn in the purple, trailing by 4. In the 4th quarter, the chase for those 20 points, that is led handily right now by Team Johansen in blue. McMahon would like to change that. North, how about a 4th 2? Charlotte walks in, no angle. Dowdy gives her a nudge. 23 seconds on the shot clock. Stevens, snapshot, score! Molly Stevens.
Molly Stevens, oftentimes an inside cutter. She's a good finisher. But at this point, she realized nobody's quite playing me. We see just sticks in front of her, and you teach your attackers to run through the sticks. And that's exactly what she did. She hesitated for a second, ran through, and I talk about her finishing skills. She has a knack for seeing the cage so very well.
Molly Stevens, born in Maryland, raised in California, picks up her 7th on the year. Markers for her in 5 of the last 7 to close the campaign. She'd be a tennis player if it were it not for lacrosse. She's been in an individual losing skid. She'd love to fight back and win this one. Molly's been on the wrong end of the decision the last 6 games. There was a bump off of the draw control, possession that was so important there, and a yellow card coming to Becca Block. Player up now for Team Glynn. Courtney, just 48 seconds, you're down 3. Are you thinking 2 now, or are you waiting?
You know, they have the ability to shoot 2, but when you're a player up, unless you have an open lane from the outside, you might as well just get the sure, easy one and then just get that next draw control.
Any way you think about it, you need to work quickly here. You got to pick up the pace. There's only 37 seconds left.
Time is of the essence, absolutely. Have a sense of urgency.
McMahon feeds, North settles off the bluff. She fires! Stopped by Waters. Kaylee Waters so often pierced today by Charlotte North, but at the biggest moment, the keeper comes up with the save. Timeout called, 25 seconds left, and Waters, deservedly so, getting the congratulations on the sideline. Save number 13 for number 43.
Kaylee Waters, you just love to watch her in the goal cage. She does such a tremendous job. But Becca Block, as we see right here against Charlotte North, that nice check, ridding Charlotte North of the ball. yet again blocking her shot. Early on in the game, Becca Block was all over her, and this last defensive play of the game translated into her own goal as she was using her speed in the open field. Nobody slowed her down, and that was her very first goal of Athletes Unlimited. So that Geico defensive play of the game also gave her her first goal.
Becca, who was the Geico Defensive Player of the Year a season ago, has been named to the All-Defensive Team this season, along with Taylor Marino, Emma Trenchard, and Lizzie Colson. The winner of the Geico Defensive Player of the Year adds a $3,000 bonus to their totals. 16-13 Team Johansen. A little less than 25 to go. Sam Apuzzo's in a good mood on the sideline. She and her orange-clad mates, Dempsey Arsenault among those, getting set and ready to roll. It's going to be a quick turnaround. This first game today has taken forever with all the points on the board, but it's been a very, very fun exercise to document, and we're not done yet. Ella Simpkins, Nicole Levy, Izzy Mcmahon there helping to lead the cheers. Team Glynn in the purple as Marino and Apuzzo shake hands. It's likely to be a fight between those two to win the championship today. Currently sitting 1 and 2 on the leaderboard, 14 orange and 77 gold. Back to matters to conclude this. Player up for Team Glynn, 6-on-5. Possession, though, belongs to Team Johansen. Mastriani doubled and tripled along the sideline, finds Pelton. Pelton brings it ahead, and now it becomes a game of stretch the field and keep away, but for some reason, Pelton gave it up, but there's not enough time for Team Glynn. This one is in the books. A high-scoring contest by the final of 16-13, and it's the sweep of the 20 in the fourth and the 45 for the game, so plus 65 for everybody in blue, vaulting their way up the leaderboard. A 16-13 game. The highest scoring game of the summer is in the books. We're back to wrap right after this. The summer of Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse has ended for Team Johansen and Team Glynn. Victorious Team Johansen 16-13. You see they split the quarter win points today. This final score going in favor of Team Johansen. Courtney, for good playmaking, you are rewarded with assists, great play on the field, and great efforts in the ecosystem.
This aspiration assist of the game being credited to Scotty Rose Brownie. Her eyes were up. She had vision for her captain, Amanda Johansen, who just so happened to pop herself into the right place at the right time, and that was the dagger, the final 2-point goal of this entire game.
Heading into today, 1,700 trees had been committed to. We thank Aspiration for its support. Aspiration, Geico, all of our sponsors for their generosity throughout this campaign. 16-13, it's in the books, a final for Team Johansen. Amanda Johansen acknowledging the crowd. Apuzzo and Marino awaiting to take the field for warm-ups. That game coming up soon. Geico leaderboard, Sam Apuzzo, Taylor Marino, Kaylee Waters, 1, 2, 3.
You know, 3, 4, 5, they are going nowhere at this point. Their game is done, but the real battle is between 1 and 2. Apuzzo and Marino, they've just created quite the lead for themselves throughout Athletes Unlimited.
That's Courtney Martinez-Connor. I'm Joe Beninati. We thank you for your time as this afternoon's game, first of 2, has run final. Team Johansen a winner 16-13. Our final game of week 4 and the last game of the Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse season, likely to crown a champion. It'll start at 3:30 Eastern over on ESPNU. It's Team Apuzzo and Team Marino. These two teams today shooting up a storm in their finale. Charlotte North setting a record, but falling. It's Team Johansen victorious.